Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, back at you again. I am UFC Dri, Adrian Blest, Adrian Dri, whatever you want to call me. I'm here because I'm here to discuss UFC Shanghai. I also want to talk about, Hamzat Chimaev. I haven't made a video since my last video. I made a video right before UFC 319. And then I wanted to make a video after UFC 319, but everyone made a video about that shit. Everyone said the same thing, and I don't want to be the same dude. Then I wanted to make a video talking about how I was going to prep for this 3 a.m. Fight night, but I also got kidney surgery, so I am recovering from my kidney surgery, and, maybe with a beer or not. Maybe I probably shouldn't be drinking this, but I want to do it for you guys because I love you. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I am here to discuss UFC Fight Night Shanghai. All right. Now, a couple crazy things. I actually got a lot to talk about because I actually did some wild stuff has happened to me in this last week. All right. So, one, UFC 319 happened, and that was fucking crazy, and I want to talk about a little bit about that. Last night, or AKA this morning, was UFC Shanghai. I want to talk a little bit about that. But also, guys, this is a breaking news exclusive. I don't think you guys know about this. I probably shouldn't even say this, but I was at work, and I ran into freaking Jalin Turner, dude. Do you guys remember Jalin Turner? The tarantula? Jalin Turner? Remember? Money Moicano, he almost knocked him out, and then he didn't knock him out, and then he, he lost a fight, but he's still a shit. So Jalin Turner, the tarantula, that guy, I ran into him. I met him, dude, at my work. Crazy enough. I'm going to tell you that story. So much more. But let's start with last week, all right? Because last week I wasn't here for you guys, and that's my fault. I probably should have been here. But I have a kidney stone. I'm going through some shit right now. You can see my face is a little bloated because my kidney's failing. But it's fine. I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about what happened last week. Now, I'm not going to get too deep into it because last week everyone talked about freaking UFC. Let's see, what is it? UFC 319. We get it. Fucking, this guy right here. What is his name? Hamzat Chimaev versus Dracus du Plessis. All right. A lot of things happened on this card that were really great. I'm going to just run through it really quick. Obviously, everyone's going to talk about the same shit. Everyone did talk about the same shit. First and foremost, my guy Chase Hooper, bro, you put the do-rag on and you still lost. You know what I mean? You didn't believe in the do-rag. You have to feel the do-rag. You have to be one with the do-rag. You didn't, and that's fine. Chase Hooper lost. I put a lot of money on that. That lost a lot of my bets. Alexander Hernandez, all right, you're cool, even though your haircut fucking sucks. All right. Now, Loopy, she proved women still got this in the women's division, and Jessica Andrade. All right. Anyways, Gerald Mershaw, yeah, you suck, dude. Especially on a Hamzat Chimaev card, you're not winning. So I already knew that was gonna happen. This guy, Bashinjar or whatever his name is, yeah, he's fucking good. All right, we knew that. All right, whatever. Move on to the next. Dude, Kaya Sakura, and the last video, if you guys watched it, I said Kaya Sakura was probably gonna style on this dude. Not the case. Turns out Kaya Sakura doesn't know how to grapple at all, and got choked out pretty easily and lost, and now is going back to Ryzen. So that's pretty fucking crazy. Tim Elliott shaved the beard and, became unhomeless. That was pretty cool. Michael Venom Page versus Jared Cannonier. That was a wild-ass fight. Michael Venom Page, MVP, was styling on these motherfuckers. He was styling on Jared Cannonier for, the first 2 rounds, and then Jared Cannonier finally, put him down and did some shit. But ultimately, Michael Venom Page did work. I know the narrative is oh, Michael Venom Page, Dana White doesn't like his style of fighting and stuff. Whatever, dude. He's entertaining. I loved it. I had fun. I was excited. I had so much fun. And Michael Venom Page is the shit. So he moves on to the next. The only successful Bellator fighter to compete in the UFC. I was going to say except for Michael Chandler, but Michael Chandler also sucks. All right. Now, these 2 fights right here were the fights of the night. Performance of the night. We had Carlos Prates versus Jeff Neal. I said Jeff Hands of Steel Neal is a problem, and he was for a little bit until Carlos Prates went and smoked a cigarette on his ass, put it out on his face, and fucking elbowed him into the nether realm, all right? It was one of the sickest knockouts. So fucking dope. 1 second left in the second round. It was just beautiful, beautiful work. Loved it. Had so much fun. What a great fight. Carlos Prates, the fucking man. I smoked multiple cigarettes for him that night. It was great. It was fun. It was cool. All right. Aaron Pico versus Lerone Murphy. Everyone was worried about Aaron Pico. I was worried about Aaron Pico. He looked great for maybe a minute. But Lerone Murphy, guys, I've been telling you. I might have not said it in my last video, but I did say it. I promise you. Lerone Murphy is the motherfucking man, dude. He's dope. I don't know if you know that, but he's really dope, dude. He's really fucking dope. And so Lerone Murphy on 11 fight win streak or some crazy like that, just went and fucking murdered Aaron Pico. It was wild, dude. Literally one of the best knockouts I've ever seen. Spinning back elbow. Just fucking wild, dude. And I think you guys all know. Everyone's talked about this a million times, so whatever. Now, the main event, Khamzat Chimaev versus Dricus Du Plessis. A lot of people said the fight was boring. And I get it. I get if you said the fight was boring. To me, I was entertained the whole entire time because you have to think about this guy. When I was explaining this fight to you guys last week, I was telling you, Khamzat Chimaev is one of the scariest guys. He's the boogeyman. He blah, 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 blah. But Dricus Du Plessis, he's a tank. He always defeats the odds. He always surprises us, So to see Khamzat Chimaev dominate Dricus Du Plessis so intently, just complete domination, was so entertaining to me. And I know people were like one of my coworkers, for example, he's like, "Oh, did you watch the fights last weekend?" I'm like, "Of course I watched. I'm UFC Dri, dude. I'm watching the fights." And he was like, "Man, that main event was boring, bro. Blah 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 blah. Suck 2 dicks with your left hand, all right, bro." Khamzat Chimaev dominated Dricus Du Plessis. It was insane. It was so fucking impressive. I loved it. I thought it was so cool. And yes, he probably could have stood up and did more. He probably could have finished him and did more, but he secured the belt. That's all that matters. He is a champion. Who's going to beat him? No one, all right? So, suck 2 dicks with your right hand, you know what I mean? So that's that, all right? So that's my little recap of UFC 319. I should have done it last week, but I didn't. I was hurt. I was sick. I was dying. I got my surgery yesterday, and I'm doing better now. So now let's lead up to what we saw last night. Was UFC Fight Night Shanghai. Wowzers. Not this fight card. That's next week, okay? But this fight card right here, UFC Shanghai, blah, 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 blah. Wow, look at this, guys. Okay, so if you guys are in New York, this fight card started at 3 a.m. prelims and 5 a.m. main card. If you're in California, like me, this card started at midnight, fucking midnight, and then also the main card started at 3 a.m. So my plan, all right, so let me give you guys a little breakdown. Hi, I'm Adrian Blest. I go by UFC Dri. I have a kidney stone. I had a kidney stone, and it was pretty big, and it couldn't go past by itself, so I had to get procedure done to get my kidney stone broken down so I could pee out my kidney stone, right? So that was Friday the 22nd. I had that kidney stone procedure. My plan was, all right, I get my procedure done, I come home, I piss blood, I pee out all my little stones, and then I just relax, I sleep all day, sleep, and then I wake up at midnight, and then I watch the prelims, and I watch this whole entire fight. And that's kind of what happened, all right? Everything went according to plan, except I set my alarm clock to 12 p.m. instead of 12 a.m. like a freaking retard, dude. And so because of that, I ended up waking up at 2 a.m., which was fine because I didn't miss too much, but I did miss some fucking good fights. So with that being said, I woke up at 2 a.m., I turned on the fights, and this fight had already happened, but I went back and watched it. And when I go back and watch these fights, dude, I fast forward to I'm like, okay, it ended at 245 submission. All right, let me just go see what happened. So I don't know who these guys are, but this guy right here, I guess he won. Submission. It was a cool submission. Whatever. Blah, blah, blah. This fight was wild as fuck. I went back and watched this fight. Su Young Yu won that fight. I bet on Zhao Long because I thought money long, Zhao Long. Turns out the money was short, and I lost that fight. Lost my bet. All right, now, Yiz Ha. That was a good little knockout in the first round. It wasn't anything crazy impressive, but it was cool. Whatever. I watched it. It was fun. Michael Pereira versus Kyle Dawkins, Dracos, Kyle Dawkins, that's his name, I think. Yeah, I thought Michael Pereira was gonna do better, but he didn't, and he lost, and he looked dumb because he shows out so much that like when he actually loses, you're just like, dude, you're dumb. Like it's one thing to lose, but like you also like do a lot of extra shit. So then when you lose, you look extra dumb, and that's what happened. But I kind of felt like it was an early stoppage. Also, you have to forgive me. I'm remembering this. This was at fucking 2 a.m. last night or 3 a.m. last night, so I don't really remember what happened. All I remember is that I was like, oh yeah, Michael Pereira probably could have kept fighting, but whatever. It is what it is. All right, Austin Hubbard versus Wrong Jew, the wrong Jew. He's not the right Jew. He's the wrong Jew. All right. Yeah, he won. All right, I don't want to talk about that anymore. Charles Johnson, dude, that shit was fucking wild. All right, Loner Kavanaugh was supposed to be the prospect. Ilya Taporia gave him props. Everyone loves Mr. Kavanaugh over here. But Charles Johnson has the worst haircut in the UFC, but somehow pulled it off, dude. That is the ugliest fucking haircut I've ever seen in my life. Like, you have an afro on the back of your head, dude. Looks like a raccoon died on the back of your head, and you super glued it to the back of your head and then shaved the rest of your head. It looks terrible, bro, but you can fight. And I'm not going to fight you. I would never say that to your face. So, Charles Johnson, he won. Whatever. It is what it is. This fight right here, Machate versus Gage Young. I honestly don't remember watching that fight. I probably skipped it. I think that's where I woke up, is like right around that fight. And then I started watching the fights. All right, whatever. Cool. This fight, this was a knockout. This was a great fight. I genuinely, like I said, guys, I was tired. I may have been sipping a little bit of something. And I don't remember this fight. But I do remember my girlfriend woke up with me and we were watching the fights together. And I remember that I hit on one of these bets. And I remember I took this guy. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Niraji. I took him in a bet in a parlay. And I remember I was doing really good on my parlay until it didn't go so good. And then I lost all of my fights. So, whatever. Cool. Knockout. Blah, 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 blah. Sumadarji, my guy, Sumadarji. He actually did really fucking good. I remember that fight. That was a good fight. That was a fun fight. He's good, man. He's good. I don't know what you want me to say. He's fucking good. He won. I don't know. Whatever. Who cares? Now, this is where I remember the fights, because these are actually the fights that are important, right? Because no one else cares about these other fights. These other fighters are whatever. Who gives a fuck, right? Here's where we get to the good shit, all right? Sergey Pavlovich versus Waldo Salsa Boy Cortez Acosta. Now, I had the over on this fight, actually, and I'm glad I did, but it doesn't matter because my other fights lost, so it doesn't matter. But I did have the over on this fight, and I knew that Waldo, Finding Waldo, where's Waldo? I knew he would probably do his little point scoring and not really do shit, and he was like trying to show out. But ultimately, he had more damage done to him. And Sergey Pavlovich, even though he couldn't really land anything clean and he didn't really do too much, I mean, he won. He squeaked out the fight and won. It wasn't like that impressive either way. These guys are huge, so every time they connected, I thought something was going to happen, and then nothing happened. It was like a train. It was like watching two cars about to crash, and then they both miss each other like each time. And it was pretty fucking boring. I'm not going to lie. I was hyped the whole entire time, but then hindsight, boring ass fight. I wish someone would have knocked each other out. I honestly wish Sergey would have just cleaned Waldo to the fucking nether realm, but he didn't. Whatever, who gives a fuck? Sergey Pavlovich, you're on notice. All right. Now, here's the real fucking fight. This is my main event right here. This is what I was looking forward to the most, was Brian Ortega versus Aljamain Sterling. Let me just make sure I'm still in frame. Okay, yeah, I'm still in frame. All right, so Aljamain Sterling versus Brian Ortega. I was really hyped for this fight because, I like Brian Ortega in a sense. I did like him back in the day. I liked him a lot back in the day. But then he dated Tracy Cortez, and he fumbled that bag, dude. He I don't know what he did, but he got back with his ex or some shit, and his ex is not Tracy Cortez, dude. Tracy Cortez is so fine. And Aljamain Sterling, he makes rum, and I love rum. Funkmaster rum, or whatever the fuck it is called. Funk Harbor, that rum even though it's like $50 a bottle, which who's paying $50 a bottle for Aljamain Sterling's rum? No one, not even me, who loves rum and loves UFC and loves Aljamain Sterling. I'm not paying $50 for your bottle, dude. But whatever, dude. It was a great fight, and I liked it a lot. I was expecting. Obviously, they're both very good on the ground, right? Very technical submission artists. But because that happens when you get two submission artists, they cancel each other out. They sit up on the feet the whole time. Aljamain Sterling did more damage. He was having fun. He was playing. He was doing spinning attacks, doing all the shit. Brian Ortega looked like dude, like he looked like he wasn't even there. It was wild. He was putting up a okay fight, I would say, but nothing too crazy. I kind of did not care about it. It was kind of boring. People were upset because they thought Aljamain was running away, but like he was. I don't know. He fucking won the fight, dude. Who cares? Like Aljamain's trying to win a title in the in I guess what the 155 realm because Brian Ortega looked like shit on the scale and they ended up doing a 155 instead of 145. So I don't know what happened here, but either way, Brian Ortega looked like shit. You might need to take a year or two off and just recover, dude. Maybe you're so hurt because Tracy Cortez is doing so good and she looks so good, and you're like, bro, she's so fine. And I'm over here with some chick that's, you know what I mean? Anyways, who knows? Who cares? Brian Ortega, you suck. You lost. Fuck off. Aljamain Sterling, you the man. Keep it going. Send me some Funk Harbor, all right? Now, here's where it got really interesting. Last night, I'm like fighting to stay awake, dude. Like I'm telling you, the sun's coming up. I'm fighting to stay awake. My eyes are falling asleep. I'm like, I gotta watch Johnny Walker versus Zhang Miang. You know, I gotta watch this shit. It's gonna be a first round knockout. Zhang Miang's so good. And I kind of had a feeling that Johnny Walker would play spoiler. I don't know why I did, because I just know Johnny Walker. Anything that you think Johnny Walker's gonna do, he's gonna do the opposite. So if that means that you think he's going to win, he's going to lose in terrible fashion. If you think he's going to lose in terrible fashion, he's going to somehow pull off a miraculous victory, all right? And that's exactly what he did. Dude, he shaved his mustache. He went full Dagestan and immediately shot for a takedown like he was Hamza Chimaev, and surprisingly did so much damage against Zhang Miyang. And Zhang couldn't even like really get off on him, dude. He really couldn't land anything on him. I think he might have landed a couple shots on him that were pretty powerful, but somehow Johnny Walker survived that shit, and he ended up winning the fight, dude. And the highlight of the whole thing, which I will show you guys because this is my Instagram, I could post this. Okay, so last night, all right, I go to UFC. I'm on UFC Dri. I'm watching the fights. It's 3 a.m. And this was the most important part of this fight right here. I thought he was hurt. Nope. He said, whoop, whoop. He did the worm, dog. This fucking guy. And didn't injure his shoulder this time. I was surprised. It's because he shaved his mustache. I loved it. Fucking Johnny Walker with the win. Who would have guessed? He upset the fucking Chinese. And yeah, dude. I guess he's 1-11 or some shit. I don't know what the fuck he is. But Johnny Walker won. Good for him. Good riddance. Good shit, Johnny Walker. You're kind of cool for one night. And you won the fight. So that was cool. All right. So Johnny Walker wins the main event. Another fight night down, guys. Who cares? Honestly, like I know I'm doing this UFC fight night shit so you guys can watch it, and I love this stuff and I'm going to watch it every single time, but ultimately it was fun fights. It was cool to stay up till midnight and watch the fights, even though I slept till 2 a.m. and then woke up at 2 a.m. and then watched the rest of the fights till 5 a.m. and then fell asleep and then woke up at fucking 2 p.m. today. And that's why I'm doing this video so late. But next week, we got some good shit, right? We got Imavov versus Borralho. This is going to be a sick-ass fight. I'm a huge fan of Cal Borralho. I really like this guy, even though he has the worst tattoo, the Free Spirit tattoo on his neck, and his Fight or Die tattoo is really dumb too. He's a cool dude. I like him, and they're scary. The fighting nerds are the shit. So let's go over this card a little bit. We know that Cal Borralho versus Nasruddin Imavov is going to be a sick-ass fight. It's going to be whoever wins this fight is most likely going to fight Hamza Chimaev, depending on if Fluffy versus RDR, how that fight goes. We might get like a little mini tournament to fight Hamza, which will be fucking really cool. Now, Saint Denis versus Rufi. That's going to be a sick-ass fight, dude. Rufi is a fighting nerd. He throws the most insane fucking punches and kicks and spinning all the shit. BSD, Buena Saint Denis, whatever his name is. He's really good, but it looks like it's gonna be a bad night for France fighters. I didn't even realize 2 France fighters versus 2 Brazilian fighters. That's gonna be a pretty fucking cool fight. I'm excited for that. We'll see. I think the fighting nerds pull it off, guys. Yeah, unless Imavov just fucking wrestles Kyle to death and Saint Denis pulls off some miraculous shit, which I doubt it. I think Rufi's gonna knock his ass out clean, dude. Mason Jones versus Boljak Okio. Okay, I don't know his name. I don't know these guys, honestly. I don't. I probably seen him fight before. I'm going for the black dude, and he's German black, which is cool. So I think I'm gonna go for him. The Welsh guys are pretty fucking tough too. So maybe Mason Jones pulls it off, but I don't know. Who gives a fuck? All right, Bukakis versus Paul Craig. I really like Paul Craig. But Paul Craig's not the best fighter when it comes down to it. He's good. He's tough. But he's kind of on his way out. He's like right there. He's kind of like a journeyman. I don't think that Paul Craig will pull this off. I think Bukakis somehow will pull this off. I don't really know how he fights, but he's from Lithuania. So let's go Lithuania. You know what I mean? Do not know who these guys are. Not even in the slightest. So let's just go Brazil because Brazil is cool. All right. Don't know who these guys are either, but that will be another Brazil versus France fight. There's a lot of Brazil versus France, so that's pretty cool. I didn't notice that. That'll be pretty cool. Oh, Marcin Taburia. Tiberia. Polish Power. I like this guy. He's number 7. This guy don't even have a picture. So, what does that say? Probably Marcus is gonna win this fight. Or Marcin, sorry. Gustafsson versus Rock. This Russian dude is really good. When you see no mustache and you see a beard, most likely bet on that guy. All right, so let's go with this guy, Renat. Okay, Renat's probably gonna pull this off. I've seen him fight before. He's really good. So we'll go for him. William Gomes. Another no picture. If the guy has no picture, probably gonna lose. We're gonna go for Gomes on this one. All right. I'm trying to get you guys hyped for these fights. The thing is, I don't know all these fighters, dude. Trey Waters, I've never seen this guy before in my life. Sam Patterson, I'm pretty sure I've seen him fight before, but I don't remember at all. But I do like the English fighters, but I have a homie named Trey, so I'm going to go for Trey Waters because it's like Ice Trey, Waters, Water Trey, Ice Trey, Trey Waters. We're going to go for Mr. Little Ice Trey Waters over here. Probably be a good fight. Who knows? Who gives a fuck, right? Brad Tavares versus Robert Shiak. All right. Polish Power is dope. But Brad Tavares, I've seen him fight before. He's pretty good. I'll go for Brad Tavares. Shauna Bannon versus Sam Hughes. That looks like someone I would never want to date. And Shauna looks like a drunken mistake. And so I'll go with Shauna. Yeah. Ireland, stand up, whatever. So it looks like next week we got some pretty good fights. It's probably going to be something that no one's going to watch. I'll be watching it from Paris, France. I will be in Huntington Beach watching this, but it will be fun, and I'll have, it'll be good times. So that's our next week fights, guys. I hope you're excited for that. Now, before I leave, I want to tell you guys a real quick little story before I leave, all right? Do you guys remember this guy right here? What's his name? The Tarantula. Jalin Turner. That's an actual tarantula. Jalin Turner, the tarantula. Okay, do you guys remember this guy, the Jalin Turner? Oh my god damn it, dude. What is happening here? Jalin Turner. The Jalin Turner. Okay, you guys remember Jalin Turner? Oh, it's Jalin. Remember you guys remember Jalin Turner? Remember this guy? Good ass fighter, dude. I don't need AI to tell me who he is. All right. Jalin Turner, remember this guy, the tarantula, this fucking beast of a man, 30 years old. Remember him? Okay, so I didn't know this, but okay, I'm gonna tell you guys a little crazy story that happened to me this week. So I started this UFC Dri page. I'm over here posting stuff. I had recently Dylan Dennis reposted me. I had fucking Chase Hooper repost me, and I only had this page for like a week, so it's pretty crazy that I'm doing this. But Jalin Turner, right? I'm at work, and I'm not gonna tell you guys where I work, but I work at a pet store. Okay, now I'm at this pet store, and I see this cool ass dog, a big ass cane corso, and I'm like, damn, I want to say hi to this cane corso. And I go to say hi to the cane corso. I look up, and who do I see? Fucking Jalin Turner, guys. My homie Jalin Turner, my new best friend. No, I'm playing. He's not really my best friend, but I see Jalin Turner at my fucking store, dude. And he has his dog. And I'm like, you're Jalin Turner. And he's like, I am Jalin Turner. I'm like, the fucking tarantula, man. I'm a huge fan of UFC. It's cool to see you. Nice to meet you. What are you doing here? And he's like, oh, I'm training this dog. You know, blah, 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 blah. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. Now, in my mind, I'm so in shock. I don't even really think about, like, who Jalin Turner is, what his story was, where he's been at for the last, year and a half, whatever. And then after I talked to him, I started thinking about it, racking my brain. And I was like, oh yeah, Jalin Turner retired. Remember, he went 4-1 in his last 5 fights. He lost 2, won 1, lost 2. Remember, he had the fight with Manny Moicano where he almost knocked him out, didn't go to finish him, and then he ended up losing the fight. Remember that shit? And then also I watch Ariel Helwani like every single fucking day. He had a crazy interview with Ariel Helwani where he talked about retiring and basically saying that he doesn't feel like fighting anymore because he doesn't want to hurt people. And I remember that interview. It was a really great interview, dude. It made me like tear up and cry a little bit because I was just like, dude, this guy's dope. I really like Jalin Turner. Well, he came to my fucking store and I met him, all right? And it was super freaking diggy dope, all right? And I wanted to be low key about it. I don't want to like put him on blast, but I did tell my coworker who is not know how to, you guys have this problem where you know how to be low key, but then you tell someone else and they don't know how to be low key and they fuck everything up. This will happen, all right? So I was talking to Jalin Turner, talking to him about dog training, all this stuff, and I was like, I'm gonna tell you guys this. This is my little breaking news secret, and I don't know if I should say it or not, but I'm gonna say it because, for the clicks. I don't, I like Jalin Turner, and he probably will beat me up if he comes back to my store because I said this, but I talked to him and I was like, bro, where have you been, And he's like, I've been retired, blah, blah. And I was like, you have a fight coming up? And he said, honestly, probably in November. So that means Jalin Turner is coming back, ladies and gentlemen. Jalin Turner is coming back in November. This is breaking news. Boop, 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 boop. Right here on the UFC Dri channel. So he said he was coming back in November. I don't know if that means he's coming back with the UFC. I don't know if that means he's coming back with PFL, Bare Knuckle. I don't know what's going to happen, but he told me that he was coming back in November. So I told my coworker, I was like, hey, bro, do you know who that is? That's Jalin Turner. That's a UFC fighter. And he's like, oh, bro, what the hell am I asking for a picture? I'm like, please don't ask him for a picture. That's weird. Just be cool, dude. And he's like, no, I'm going to go ask him for a picture. So he went and asked him for a picture. And I told him, oh, he retired, but he's probably going to come back to fight. That's sick, right? And then his dumbass went up to him and he was like, oh, bro, are you coming back out of retirement? And then he was like, Jalin Turner was like, dude, shut up, dude. Like, why are you talking? Like, So whatever, but I kind of put him on blast and I felt bad and I was like, damn, dude, I should have never told my coworker that Jalin Turner was coming back, but I'm telling you guys because I have 4 subscribers. No one gives a fuck about this channel yet, and no one gives a fuck about me yet, but I'm giving you guys the inside scoop. Jalin Turner will be returning in November. I think there's an Abu Dhabi card in November, UFC, so I think he might be coming back, guys. So you heard it here first. Breaking news, exclusive. Jalin Turner is returning to the UFC. I'm going to just say the UFC. I don't know if he's coming back to the UFC, but I'm going to say he's coming back to the UFC in November. Abu Dhabi. Jalin Turner, the tarantula, is back. He got the fighting spirit back in him, and I saw him, dude. He looked in shape. He looked great. He was a nice dude. Super cool. I should have just been his friend and kept all this on the low, but I have this channel, and I want to make some fucking money and get some followers. So let's be real. We're going to tell the secrets on here, all right? So Jalin Turner will be returning to the UFC November. Check your calendars. Tell the media, tell TMZ, tell whoever you want to tell. And he'll probably come back and fuck me up for spilling this little secret. And he's like, why did I trust this guy? Why did I tell him? But, I don't know him. He don't know me. And I probably should have kept a secret and been cool so that way I can have him on this podcast later. But whatever, dude. I'm trying to build this podcast. And if I need some breaking news to build it, that's what we're going to do. So here we are. Jalin Turner's returning to the UFC in November. Mark my words, all right? So with that being said, guys, I had fun last night. I stayed up till fucking 5 a.m. I'm super tired. I got kidney surgery yesterday. I'm also hurting. I need to go relax. I need to go lay down. I might go see Weapons tonight, which is going to be exciting. We put out a podcast for Above the Multiverse this week, which is a podcast that I do with my boy Avery Harden, where we talk about Marvel and movies and TV shows and stuff. So if you guys are interested in entertainment in that sense, go watch that podcast. Subscribe to our channel. Subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Please, I'm going to be doing this every week. I'm going to be telling you about the fights. I'm going to be breaking down the fights in the worst way possible. But I'm here for you. I will entertain you. Hopefully, that's all that matters, right? So if you guys like this, give it a like. If you guys really liked it, give it a subscribe, whatever you want to do. I promise I will be recovered soon. My face, I won't look as terrible next week. I promise I'll look cleaner. I'll look better. I might shave my mustache and just have a beard so I can fight whoever I want to fight and win in China. Who knows? But last night we had fun, guys. UFC Shanghai wrapped up. Good fights. Johnny Walker did the worm. Broke everyone's fucking parlays. And yeah, I lost more money last night, but at least the fights are free. All right. And I had today off, so I got to sleep in. So it was cool. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys like me, if you guys fuck with me, I am Adrian Blest on Instagram, all that stuff. I am also UFC Dri on Instagram and TikTok. Go follow those. And then subscribe to my YouTube channel. We're going to keep doing this every week. And sorry I had to cut out that little part. It might or may have not been an inappropriate website that happened to pop up, but you'll never know because I edited this. So with that being said, guys, I love you. Till next time, I'll see you guys. I'm UFC Dri. Peace and chicken grease. Deuces and juices. Love. Go get you some grub.